Oh, hi there. Was that long? I don't know. Welcome in, everyone. Happy to see you. Hello! I'm Chef JT. How we doing tonight, everyone? Hi there, Zeeks. Welcome, Soph. Hi, Wolf. Welcome, JK. Welcome. Oh, hey. I was supposed to turn on that. That's gonna make a lot of noise now. I forgot to turn the kettle on. And yeah, jambalaya night times 2. Mutant for the coffee grind. That didn't exactly mute it. Oops. Sorry about that. But yeah. That mute fail was because I had it set to toggle instead of off and then back on. I was lazy. Yeah, and I had turned that mic off on purpose because I was turning the kettle on. I have 3 mics in here. I have one right here. I have number 2. I gotta zoom out for that. Camera control, where are you? Let's see here. There's number 2. Getting all the cutting board sounds. And then number 3 is right over here. It is, yeah, right there. Hi, Nanometer. And it's always a little bit of a battle between them. Which one is supposed to be the dominant mic? I've worked on it, and it's always a little guesswork here and there. But we're waiting on water to warm up tonight because I didn't think to warm up the kettle ahead of time. And then I also have microphones on all of my cameras, I think. Well, yeah, I don't have sound out on that one, but... Or maybe I even do through HDMI. I might have sound in all of my cameras, but all of those are disabled as far as the stream and the recording and all that good stuff. I got a cutesy little new toy today at the store. They got me with an impulse buy. Yeah, he's cutesy. And I like orange. Another 2 degrees there to go. Let's turn that microphone back on. Now that it's back to being quiet. So yeah, tonight we're going to be making jambalaya, but we're going to be using pasta instead of rice. Why I chose to do pasta and why I chose to do pasta instead of rice, I don't know. But here we are. Oh hey, let's go turn off noise in the background. Don't you mean the crema? It's the crema. No, the cheapo Haro one is only like $6. I have one that I use for travel. Why am I taking that off the stand? We're early with that. We're sort of early with that. Are you sure you don't want one of the other, like, AeroPress imitators out there that's out now? Like, there's 101 other ones out there that are... I don't believe I've ever even used an AeroPress. I've definitely seen one. I've definitely seen one used. I think I've seen one used in real life and in video. But I don't think I've ever used one, and I don't own one. That said, I don't really want one. So, like, I'm okay with my pour overs for me at home. I don't have... I'm not a huge espresso nut. Yeah, originally, the second one came out clear blue. Intend. Yeah. Then you have to buy filters, and you can say that about Hario too, but then you gotta buy the filters, and yeah, I buy my Hario filters a couple hundred at a time. Actually, I'll buy like 600 of them at a time. Like, they'll sell them in packs of 3 of 100, and I'll buy multiples. I don't like cleaning out metal or ceramic or there's a couple other types of filters, aren't there? Regardless of what filter you choose. Greatly appreciate you joining me. Cheers. Not the sludge. Veggies or... yeah, let's do veggies first. I also use the natural filters. Which... I got a lot of feedback when I was selling coffee, a lot of feedback. A lot of people told me they liked that I was using natural paper for my filters. But the people I was selling coffee for were livid that I was using natural paper filters. It tastes disgusting. Why do you do this? Doesn't even really need the... well, you should rinse both of them, is the thing, but... messed this up. Made it harder on myself. I'm cutting all of these twice. Rest will be fine though. Of course, you look at that coffee company, and yeah, it's not what they were hoping it would be. But then again, neither was my business, so who am I to talk? Oh, hi. We should have the light on. Should maybe turn the fan on too, just in case. Grab ourselves an onion. Going red with my onion tonight. I don't remember what I did the other night with the gumbo. I'd make a joke, but I don't want Twitch to get mad at me. Not that they will. Doing focaccia again on Sunday. That one's rather thin, so we're going to take that layer off too. Maybe I should actually do a pool for it this time. Pool? I don't know how to properly pronounce that word. Speaking of limes, anyone see? I posted an article in the political area of the Discord. Anyone else see that the head of the lime union apparently made one of the cartels unhappy? $420 is actually a fair number of bread recipes for me. Yeah, we'll just skip that. If I remember correctly, isn't Jim Leahy's no-knead bread 20 minutes covered and 20 minutes uncovered? Grass? Lost me there. No. Yeah, like I said, you can add time. You can add, not the herb, the actual passing of time. Or you can do a pool where you essentially ferment some of your dough in the fridge a night ahead. It's essentially what you're doing. You're doing a controlled spoil in the fridge that then bakes and tastes delicious. But, you know, it's right up there with blue cheese. It was spoiled on purpose. and that grosses out some people. No, it's, I'd look up a recipe for it, but basically it's just your flour and water and maybe some sugar, some sort of combination of that to get the yeast going. And in the fridge, you'll get the yeast going, you put it in the fridge, and it just sort of, it'll continue to ferment and do its thing, but mostly it's the time, wet dough, wet flour, it's... Thanks for your coffee brewing wisdom, Zeeks. I am set on food and shopping until Monday. I am ready. I forgot the coffee. That's along the same lines. But no, you can certainly... There's simpler... If you look up POOLE in baking, it's a common term for making sort of like a beginning dough. It's almost like the same thing as a sourdough starter kept in your fridge. It's just not sourdough. Let's see here. We got that, and that. We need... to find where my... Do I even have any more bay leaves? Looks outside for bay tree. Got MSG. Got food coloring. There we go. There's our bay leaves. I knew I had some in here somewhere. Buried in the bottom. Okay. Garlic. Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's a relatively simple, just get the yeast going early type thing. Has anyone tried their browser? I would expect it to burn through it. I wouldn't be giving it tons of sugar. Just enough to say, hey, hello, wake up. Sorry to Seattle and any other cities that want to call themselves coffee cities, but I think you're disqualified if you're not in a region where you can grow coffee. Actually, it is a little sad that we don't have, like, a... Hey, I thought GPT hated me. But going back to the coffee... Yeah, like... I don't really think of, like... You know... any major city in the world being... the coffee capital. Like, even among the big... city... Don't know how I think about that, Zeeks. Mostly I agree with it. A lot of them are based in Seattle still. And if they don't have, like, if they aren't legally based in Seattle, they have their, like, flagship store there. Wait until after Halloween. Heating up our pan. I'm just going straight into the big one tonight. We're not gonna try toying around with searing everything on the cast iron. We'll do the roux in that pan too. And it's got a nice heavy bottom too. It's not a light pan. So speaking of that, I did just give ChatGPT a ton more meta info about me recently, because we now have all of the past videos online on my website. And we have the analysis of each of the streams and the recipes for the ones that I have, and I hope to expand the analysis and recipes on all the past ones too over time. But that's now all online and searchable, the recipes and everything. Like, you can go to these and it's got the full video there, but then you got recipes. Hey, that's not saying that it's generated from the stream anymore. That's supposed to be saying that it was generated from the stream. Anyways. Now I've let the pan go and get smoky on me behind me. Talking about my website. Let's slice up some sausages. Yeah, if you've got a spare, what, like 10, 15 bucks, maybe even 20 now with inflation, buy yourself a thermometer for your oven. It gets all coated with stuff and you can't read it after 6 months, but you'll at least know where you were for that 6 months. I mean, it's hard to tell what's going on with the oven. I'm thinking back to, with family. We were cooking pizzas one night with family, and it was a new oven. My aunt or uncle had a new oven, and, like, it didn't feel like it was on at all. Like, we were all debating if there was some problem with the oven or not. Apparently it was fine, but... You get one of these new fangled ones, fancy sensors and all sorts of stuff, and probably knows that it's empty. Of course, if it's a Samsung, it's also probably calling back over the internet. Does anyone put like a firewall on your network or anything like that in the past and seen, like, yeah, the madness of things that will hijack your network and go off on it and say, hey, I'm here? So we'll start in our searing here with our sausages. I thought I had turned that back on. I'm noticing a number of these, they don't even, like, they're taking the bone out without even detaching the meat around it at the factories these days. I never really looked into andouille. I'm a little curious how different it is from a smoked hot dog. We'll season up our chicken on both sides. Alright, we got some nice beginning color on that sausage, and we've released a fair amount of its fat, so I am going to pull that out of the pan now. Just put it on one of my cast iron pans next to it here. I don't know if you can see that or not on the screen. I lost one to the counter. That it? Okay. Chicken going in. Well, some of it. I don't know if I still have a thermometer hanging in my oven. Do what I say, know what I do, chat. Then again, sometimes you shouldn't do what I say. Nice! Scrambles glazing chat. I attempted to do squats the other day. This is now almost like a week later. My legs still hate me. Like, not even with, like, just, like, lots of reps, squats. And my legs cannot stand me now. They hate me. Getting old sucks. Like, 20s, 30s, you know, no problem. Pain for a couple of days, yeah, it sucks, but no big deal. Now it's just like, ugh. It's one of the things I can convince myself to do on a regular basis when I'm sitting at my desk. And but yeah, my legs just continuing to hate me. I'm still probably exaggerating. We're probably on day 4 right now. Like, I remember it last stream, which is why I'm calling it a week. Ah, we're out of focus again. The Logitech software upgraded and now it doesn't, it's stupid. It doesn't remember my settings anymore. So we're back to resetting my focus every time I restart the computer, which is every stream. Those of you who've been hanging out with me for a while remember me complaining about that just about every stream. I understand, Axe. We'll see if any of the YouTubers get that joke. I don't know how much you made. I would give it enough space to double, and I would wrap it tightly. Actually, the truth is, you're not going to stop yeast if it wants to escape. I have seen disasters from dough just expanding, like... Oh, you're probably fine putting that in the fridge and... I don't know, maybe a quart container? 1 quart? Like, if you got a tall one. Give it some vertical growth. Flame is off on that pan for the moment. Yeah, but I don't think yanking on the dough is going to have much of an effect. We're getting into roux time. And the heat's back on. Wish this pan wasn't shaking all over the place when it wasn't as hot as it is and coated in oil. Are we on the cutting board or... Okay, good. We're over here on the stove, good. Sorry, I know the towel is blocking some of the view there, but... Need to get all those good bits up on and in with our roux rather than burning on the bottom. And turn the heat down a little bit here so we're not high heat cooking this. Hey, Hammock. Thank you for the raid. Very much trying to scrape all of that up off into the roux. And the pan is a bit warmer than I want to hold on to. And turn the heat back up again. Get this going. Get it dark. What I'm doing is I'm making a dark roux. We've got oil and flour in here in a pan. I'm scraping up all the good bits from chicken and andouille sausage, stuck down to the bottom of the pan. Once we get some nice color on this roux, because typically roux are used as a thickening method. That's their traditional use, their original use, or actually I don't know, I shouldn't say that for sure, but as I know it, is their primary reason for existing. But in Creole, Cajun, French Creole, it's cooked quite heavily so it doesn't thicken nearly as much, but also adds a great nutty flavor to the overall dish. Tonight's dinner is one of those dinners where it's like, let's see how many grandmothers I can annoy. Like, who am I annoying more? The French, the Louisianan, or the Italian grandmothers? What did I do to my roux? What do you mean, Zeeks? What do you mean, what did I do to my roux? I've just been sitting here stirring it, change the temperature a little bit. You can see it's thickened up as it's gotten hotter. Not 100% sure why that is, whether it's oil cook-off or it actually thickens the oil after a point, or what? Maybe it chars and the oils absorb into the char, I don't know. Probably millions of chemical compounds going on in that pan right now. The oil, some of the oil definitely burns, and some of it off gases, yeah. Some of it just sort of plasticizes, becomes solid, like plastic. But I could also see, like I was saying, the flour, as it cooks, it could absorb more maybe, or absorb oils, or that it didn't, or... Turn this fan on high. Sorry, it gets in mic a little bit. We're almost there. is cooking pretty quick tonight. Hi, Ham Hock. Now have a pretty solid chocolate roux going. It's sort of funny that they use other food terms to, like, you have peanut butter, you have chocolate, you have the different colors. All the different colors. I think I'm going to live with that tonight. Going in with my onions. Salt. Celery and green onion, or green pepper. I actually think that needs a bit more oil, so I'm going to give it a spray of avocado oil. sort of weird how it just absorbs all the liquid that the veggies are letting off. Compared to your typical stew where you throw a mirepoix or whatever in there and you got all sorts of steam being generated. I pointed up there like I'm pointing at the stove because that's where my OBS is. Keep following me. Keep following me. There we go. Okay. Garlic going in. Just to make Zeke's mom happy, we're not throwing shrimp in there too. Totally not because I just used the shrimp on Wednesday. I think perhaps as a kid or a younger adult, I appreciated the shell as sort of like a fun aspect of the dinner. You gotta peel the shells, and that's true for lobster, for shrimp, for all of them. Now that I'm getting older, it's like, just serve it to me how I want to be eaten, and none of those are. We'll start adding some liquids in here. And that last batch of chicken stock was just gorgeous. Gorgeous color. Beautiful. There's some other things in food that I've sort of changed my opinions of over time that, like, in the same way I sort of feel like as a kid or a young adult I probably would have appreciated much more the whole Alinea style, the table is your plate type service where they, at least for their dessert service, very often they'll just plate things right on the table itself and expect you to eat right off of the table. As a kid or a young adult, I would thought that's cool, that's fun, that's exciting, that's something, interesting to do. As an adult, I'm sort of like, outside of a Michelin 3-star restaurant, I'm like, ew. You looking at that rag over there? See you when you get back from the ass. I mean, I expect Alinea's tables are clean. That's sort of beside the point of how serving meals on a table makes me feel. Yeah, now they got into trouble with all the nasty inks that they have on newspapers, and now all the inks are, crawfish trays. Like crawfish, like serving crawfish like oysters trays, sort of a thing, like a baked crawfish tray. I don't know that I've seen anything like that. I mean, it doesn't sound outrageous. Hey, we're gonna remember these today. We're gonna do it heavy because I forgot them last time. Is that too much, Bay? I would call that 1 small and 2 medium bay leaves. Along with our red onion, green bell pepper, 3 ribs of celery, 4 cloves of garlic, a 3-cup bag of my homemade chicken stock, 2 cups of water, salt, and lots of Tony Cacciaris. Throw some pepper in there too. Welcome back. I added some pepper in there too. So we got bay leaves and peppers in there. I don't know if bay leaves were during the ad or not. I think I'm going to give this another cup of water. And I am going to add a majority There might be some hidden that I missed, but primarily all of the sausage is going to go in here. Now there's plenty of oil and stuff in the pan that we'll throw in there later, but chicken I'm holding off on because we can definitely overcook that easier. And I want to let this come up to a boil and hang out for a little bit and let all those flavors get to know each other before we throw the pasta in there, because the pasta's just going to immediately soak it up, and we want it to have flavor developed for it to soak up. You know, I heavily seasoned that chicken with Tony's, but I haven't really seasoned the rest of this with Tony's. Let's add some Tony's into the rest of this too. You know, you gotta season your pasta water. Oh, dad joke. I think we've made it to I need water time. Ow. That legs hate me. Did that show properly, Z? What are you looking at, camera? I'm not down there. What are you looking at? Camera. Camera. I saw the blue light there for a moment. Yeah, you recognized me for a moment. Going right back to this. Hey, M1. Oh. We're doing pretty good. We got our beginnings of tonight's dinner set up here. We've got... Well, at this point, this could be gumbo or this could be jambalaya. Need to add the chicken back in there, but it's going pretty well. Walk over here and grab some pasta. No tomatoes. Yeah, I made gumbo on Monday, and I forgot the bay leaf, and so I'm going heavy with the bay leaf tonight. There's 3 of them in there. I mean, I guess, I think, do I have? No, I don't. Oh. Thank you for the resub, Nan Reader. Yeah, I went a little lighter on the root just because of how dark it looked on stream and in the photos. The photos, it looked dark too. It didn't look that dark to me. I mean, it didn't look burnt, it didn't taste burnt, but it looked dark, and so I went a little lighter. This is a little bit more redder. Pretty sure I don't have any chunky tomato. I've got jarred marinara sauce, and I've got tomato sauce that I was planning for Sunday. Starting Spooky Foods on Sunday. We're going to be doing Spooky Foods on Sunday. Monday, we'll do our normal ingredient challenge on Wednesday. And then Friday is Halloween. And I'm going to be cooking in costume. Oh, now see, my understanding is just pipe tray. I don't know that I've ever really heard a tomato in that batch. My understanding is the major difference between a gumbo and a jambalaya, is whether the starch is cooked with it or served as the side, and it's basically like in it as a soup, but we got a nice boil going on in our deliciousness now. Know how to define a tradition in modern day. Like, we've talked about this before. I don't agree with a lot of traditions, and I'm not a big fan of a lot of claims as to who started this or who owns that. But when it comes to, like, whose grandma's recipe is tradition? Yeah, one that's my hype train thingy, along with the train up there. Yeah, that's very true. Like, which is traditional for Creole and which is traditional for Cajun. Which, for those that don't know the difference, many times it's slang between who's got money and who doesn't. Well, that's true of just about any of, like, these original recipes. Like, it's what we had. You know, in most cases, it was either, you know, poor or slaves or, you know, masses of people. Those are typically not the rich ones. Created a fad. Hand pies with miners, or boiled eggs. Or if you just look at the different meat cuts used over the years, you know, you get the ugly, disgusting cuts over time become the fine dining ones. Both of those are, like, whether you're using filet powder or eggs, I haven't done that, but that's the same as making a custard. They're gonna thicken things. Well, that goes back to, like, I don't know how much we should or not, because on one hand, it's food that's based off of the local cuisine, of the local terroir. And if there is something that I will fight for in tradition, and that is terroir, wines taste different because they were grown in different soils. And so, where is the Overton window on that? So given that you cook the rice in jambalaya, I am cooking the pasta in this, and not as a separate and then adding it in. I feel like, well, just about any restaurant is going to do it separately because it's easier to do accounting that way. But when it comes to, like, definitely a home move. This is not something a restaurant or a professional place would do if they were trying to replicate this dish. But I also think it's probably more realistic. Ubiquitous they. Blame Emerald. I'm realizing now that the youngsters on Twitch may not even know who Emerald is. Yeah, no. People do review gumbos. No, Emerald had a lot of real estate debt with his restaurant business right when 2008 crash hit, and Martha Stewart ended up buying out his business. I don't know if he's still a part of Martha or not, but it basically ended his celebrity. Like, he was on Top Chef a little bit beyond that, but basically he wasn't on TV beyond that. He's doing a lot more stuff online now. Bringing this back up to a boil now because I'm ready to add some pasta in here. Add a bit more water for our pasta. Parts of Texas, too. There's all sorts of Texas tags back here. Like, there's a guy running for a local city here. I'm from Texas. Like, I come here from Texas to tell you Californians how to live. Type mentality to his political campaign. Took one of those. I got one of his flyers in my mailbox. You know, like one of those sitting on a porch on, you know, the starry outlook at the ranch or the farm, sitting on his porch. I didn't see if the dog had a collar, but. People get that confused about California, too. Like, there's a good, like, Sonoma County, there's a good 6+ hour drive north until you're in Oregon. Like, I'm above San Francisco. There's still 6 hours north. It took me, I mean, I wasn't rushing, I wasn't, you know, pushing speeds that insane, but driving down to San Diego, that was an 8-9 hour drive. I don't pronounce anything right. I'm surprised any of you understand me. I'm even more astounded that the captions just understand anything I say. Yeah, it's oregano without the O. Oregon. What is this? Oh, that was meat. Chunk that was in the roux. Making sure it wasn't just like roux that clumped up or something. Oregon. Oregon. If it wasn't for volcanoes and nuclear projects, I probably would own a home in Oregon a while ago. It's actually relatively affordable compared to California. Though price of living is, availability of services, There's a ton of people that have homes in Oregon and register their vehicles there, and then you just see them living here. So many northern tags. Or Japan. Or New Zealand. I actually know quite a few people that are moving to Japan, too. I don't know, temporary, longer term, but yeah. I mean, I know Japan has got whole aging population thing, and they're trying to bring new people in and all that, but alright, we got a nice boil going there now. I think it's time to add our pastas in there. I am shooting for this to not be a solid mass of pasta. I'm trying to keep this liquidy. Yeah, there's a couple of those too. Chicken's not fully cooked. We're going to sort of tear it up into smaller bits so that we can finish it in there. Last couple of minutes. But my other understanding of Japan is Japan natives love visitors. but hate foreigners. In other words, they're happy for you to come there and spend money and visit their island, but they don't want you living there. I mean, you got to consider some of their major experience to the U.S. I'm not talking about necessarily just Jake Paul either. Like, I don't understand how most of the only reason they tolerate Americans is because of our money, I think. Like, it has to be. Because, like, you see what Americans do to other countries? Like, what's his name out in Korea that's gonna be, you know, the streamer that's out in Korea that's gonna be in jail for 1 million years. Or the one that went out in Pacific Islands did the same thing. Yeah, Johnny Somali. Other shock influencers like him. I don't know, I think it's much later. I think it's been pushed back too. But there was just something the other day, which is why it's fresh in my brain. But yeah, Korea had their own influencers out there, you know, kicking his butt. Like, what are you doing to our country? Sort of respect that. I don't think people should do that. But I sort of respect it. Like, there's no point in laws if we have vigilantes, but... Gotta say that motorcycle clubs are just motorcycle guys, right? There's certainly an odd punk scene in Asia, Japan, I'll give it that, but... And Yakuza stories. Ooh. Hey, thanks for joining in, M1. See how we're getting here with our pasta. Nope. I think we can throw this chicken in there to finish. Get all that oil and goodness that was in the bottom of that pan in there too with that chicken. I'm a white dude, so I don't really probably fully appreciate crip walking and all that's attached to it. I listen to some rap, but certainly not enough. So, like, yeah, it's certainly outgrown its original LA roots, though. I mean, you're looking at what's her name in the Super Bowl doing it. I get the corn. The ham's probably more of a political statement. I mean, we've cultured this culture of growing corn in America as a security thing. Like, it's much less so today, but before World War II, like, rice was from Asia, wheat was from Europe. Like, we didn't have our own and so we have corn. Thank you, Zeke. Just need that pasta to finish up in there. Oh yeah, KFC is big in Christmas in some other countries. No, I will not be posting this on Reddit. Liberty Duck will probably ship to you. Mary's Duck will probably ship to you. Mary's is the same company that Mary's Chicken, Mary's Rocky Rosie is Mary's. They do duck. But also, Liberty Duck is here in Sonoma County, and it's the duck that they use at the French Laundry. So, it's the one that always sticks in my head. Oh, awesome. Cut the heat on that. We're good. Like, a little bit of a chew in that pasta still, but that's what we want at this point. I do like me some duck. I wish it wasn't so pricey. I wish we made more of it, or produced more of it. I think I've tried a turducken, but I haven't made one. And it seems sort of meh. It's the process that's interesting. It doesn't do anything better for any of the meats. Like, it doesn't make the chicken or the duck any better inside the turkey. That's my major thing with it. I generally don't do a whole turkey because I don't have people to serve with that, but I'd probably go spatchcock with turkey. I don't think that view is as good as the other one tonight. Grab a photo or two. I thought about doing some rolls with dinner tonight. I thought that was just going to be too much starch with the pasta and everything else. But I think that looks amazing. I know that the pasta is cooked through nicely. Got great flavor. Even a little heat. A little of this stuff sneaking through there. Plenty of Tony Cacciari's in her. Pastalaya. Jambalaya. I have trouble saying the laya with pasta before it. Pastalaya. Is that how it's... Do you think that's proper pronunciation? Pastalaya? Because I sort of think of Leia and I think of, like, Star Wars Leia. French bread would have been an awesome play. And I'm even more miffed about that because there's a cute lady at the store today that I should have sitting at the breads. You should have... Let's see here. I think this is going to be where we leave things for this lovely evening. Alright folks, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Wish you the best. Hope you go out and have some fun. Do something interesting. And if not, I hope you make lots of money. Be back here on Friday. I'm turning this fan off. I didn't realize I had it on high this entire time. Be back here on Sunday, starting Spooky Foods. Going to be doing ghost lasagna, or ghost ravioli and spooky focaccia. I'm going to go and enjoy this. I hope you all have a great evening and great weekend. Good night.